Hello, Realm Runners. Welcome everybody to the Achroma weekly live stream on the 10th of September 2023. My name is Charles Barton, otherwise known as Viridian. Great to see you all. Hope you've been well. Let's start by welcoming those that are here with me live and having a look at the question that I threw at you guys for the start of this one. So a bit of a different one this week. I thought we would start by discussing what is everybody's thoughts on the current meta in Achroma. Now, we're going to have a full discussion on what we mean by the term meta, as well as, what is the current meta for Achroma a bit later on in the Realm Table segment. But to kind of give you guys a basic idea now, when we talk about meta, in short, we're talking about what is currently the best palette you can bring to the table to give you the highest chance of winning, and what do we think of how the current meta of Achroma is, which essentially most people that have been to the tournaments recently will know it's currently a deck called Raiders. So let's go through the chat and have a little look. So welcome in Taurus, welcome in Shah, welcome in Fairy, welcome in Shaz. Great to see you all nice and early. Fairy Bread said yeah, Raiders, but generally I've seen a lot of Curdle Cove, which is interesting to see. Some secret decks, but some with some curse, of course. Antonomy says, I still reckon a big secret focus could do well versus Raiders. However, you need to hit high value cards. Yeah, essentially, you're not wrong that secret could work against Raiders, but you need to have a really big secret first and second turn, and you need to hope that the cards that you secret from the top of their palette are their ones that are 5 or 6 shards, and they didn't have a good amount of those already in their palette. But as Lewis says, it's one of those things that secret isn't necessarily the answer, because the thing with Raiders is it's not really just 1 or 2 cards that are the key. It's the entire palette is just so strong. Lewis came in with, it certainly needs to something to prevent Raiders and stuff like that in the future, as well as get more 5 and 6 card cost cards. Yeah, I agree. Welcome in, Lewis, by the way. Good to see you. Ferry, how long is the alt art competition for? It's for 2 weeks, but we're now 1 week into it, so you've got 1 week left, by the way, Fairy, essentially. Welcome in, Ricky. Good to see you. Echo Lewis did a great job with the Raiders, and I know it's fun for others to build too in their own way, but it's funny to see a whole new build. Yeah, I agree. Metas come and go. They, Raiders won't be around forever. My thoughts on the Raiders solutions are restrain and secret to take their card and also discard and sacrifice. Yeah, that all would work. If there was a way to disable trade, I mean, yeah, there is trade embargo, but that's just a 1 rare card once. Yeah. Yeah. Wishwell's currently not good enough to defeat it. No. Let me switch accounts to playing Achroma. No worries. Hey, welcome in, playing Achroma. Good to see you. I'm cooking my alt art card. Very nice. Cool. But yeah, so welcome everybody. Great to see you. We'll talk more about the whole meta conversation at the Realm Table topic in about half an hour, so definitely stick around for that, as we've got a few key points to talk about there. But pleasure to have you all in nice and early. So for those that are watching and maybe not watched any of our Achroma weekly streams before, or maybe you're watching on the replay, this is what you can expect from the next 60 to 90 minutes. So we're going to start by talking about the Achroma news, events, and previews. This is where we talk about any news that has come about this week. We talk about any events that have happened this week, as well as ones that are coming up in the next few weeks. And we also normally try to give you guys some previews of cards or images or anything else coming up in the near future, of which today I am not here to disappoint. We do have some preview images to show you. Today I have, I believe, 5 or 6 locations to show you from the upcoming Chapter 2 Draco Temple Draco Planum set called The Last Dragons of Altari. So yes, we will be showing those. Now those won't be the cards themselves, it'll be just the artwork, but from the thumbnails I've seen, they look pretty sweet. So we'll be doing that. The middle of the stream, we have what we call the Realm Table segment, where normally myself and a community member or two will join me around the Realm Table, and we will discuss a hot topic in Achroma. And for this week, as we've just discussed, we're going to be talking about what meta means and how the meta currently sits in Achroma, what we can do to try and nullify it and things like that. And then we finish the stream by turning the spotlight onto you guys, where we have a look at the community showcase, where we have a look at some of the amazing artwork, palette builds, and basically things that you guys have been creating for Achroma. Welcome in, Nutritious. As someone who doesn't get to play all that much, Raiders is an off-putting prospect. Definitely worth considering how off-putting it might be to newer players. Yeah, that's definitely one of the things I have lined up to talk about later, Nutritious, is that yeah, there's positives and negatives for a game having a meta, and we'll definitely bring up that point when we speak about it later. I completely agree. And you're right, you can't ban it entirely. Yep, I agree as well. So it's a tricky situation, and it's a really good topic to discuss. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of opinions. So that'll be in about 25 minutes. So let's get started then with the Achroma news. So starting with, there we go. So starting with Kickstarter update. As always, we start with Kickstarter updates. For those that don't understand what I mean by that, go back to first quarter of this year. We ran a Kickstarter, which we are still in the process of creating some of the products and getting them shipped to backers. And we always like to update people with what's going on with those. So the only news I have for you this week on some of the items that have been backed. I mentioned last week that we were due to be getting a new shipment of dice this week. And that was going to need... what's the word? Testing and evaluating and reviewing. So here is an image of some of the new dice that we had sampled this week. Welcome in, Sarah. So yeah, these came in this week. We are currently assessing the quality and the durability of them by, using them quite a lot. We aren't quite happy with some of the colors on them. So we're going to speak to the manufacturer to see if they can maybe improve those colors a little bit. And we are also in chats with other suppliers at the same time. But the news here is essentially we are continuing to make progress with getting some dice created. And as soon as we have a set of dice from a manufacturer that we are happy with the durability and the colors and the price, then obviously we will, push the button to get it ordered and get those dice out to backers ASAP. So that is the only Kickstarter news I have for you this week. Obviously, I know the playmats are looming. It literally could be any day now, folks, that the playmats come in through the door and get sent out. It could even be next week. Who knows? It's literally a case of, it's like Christmas is coming. But yeah, so I haven't got any more news on the playmats other than it's any day now. So the next bit of news, we had some events this week. So the first one to talk about is the Hidden Gem Realms Collide tournament. I don't have a photo from the actual tournament itself, but this happened at the Hidden Gem Achroma Stockist in Poole 2 days ago on Friday. So I got some, information from Hen and Lewis that was there. Apparently it was really good. Even with a few people that weren't able to make it in the end, it was still really fun. The whole fun about this tournament, for those that weren't there, was that they played a Achroma canvas, but they threw out the rule that you can't mix and match realms. So you could make palettes from using literally any cards. Apparently some gameplay videos up soon. Lovely. Can't wait to see those, Lewis. That would be awesome. That would be great to see. But yeah, apparently there were some really interesting palettes thrown together. Congratulations to Lewis, who did win with his adapted Raiders palette. I mean, imagine making Raiders even better. That's essentially what he did, because mixing realms. But yeah, so really good fun. For those that are in the Poole area, Hidden Gem have now got a bit of a reputation of hosting these really fun, quirky, for use of a better term, tournaments. So definitely keep an eye on the Discord IRL events channel for the next Hidden Gem tournament, as they seem to be having a lot of fun with them. Yeah, turn one win. We already have some future plans. Awesome. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on that channel then, folks. The evil overlord strikes again. But yeah, awesome. So that was the Hidden Gem tournament. The next event that happened, this is actually from about 3-4 hours ago. So Chris Hillman and Troy from the Achroma team headed up this weekend to 2 different stores. So the first one, this was yesterday not the image. Yesterday there was an event at Living Realms in Castleford. So again, Chris and Troy went there, and they were joined by some of the community members, Shaz and Sadistic Dane. So thank you two for turning up. And it was a very well presented game store, I was told. Very spacious and fun to be at. Apparently there was lots of Achroma action, with loads of new players getting involved and having their first games. And apparently there was quite a buzz going around. They really enjoyed the day. And overall, apparently it was just really good. And then today, Chris and Troy continued on their little road show, as it was, and they went to, you can see in the background there, this is Patriot Games in Sheffield. So again, they ran this demo event. Now, I don't have names, but I was told that actually quite a lot of the community members from up north did actually come and say hello for this one, which is fantastic to see. Again, loads of new players coming in and trialing the game. Apparently quite a few picked it up as well. So just really good to see the game expanding to the northern part, as it were. And yeah, well done to Chris and Troy, who were there today. They're probably driving home as we speak. No idea if they're listening to the stream in the meantime. But yeah, it was from what I heard, it was a pleasure to demo at both of the stores. You guys should definitely check out the Living Realms and Patriot Games in Sheffield and Castleford. And hopefully we'll have some more events there soon. So yeah, well done to those there. Next bit of news is about the alt art competition. I thought I had I didn't have a different slide for that. Hey, welcome to Citizen. Good to see you. So yes, to remind people, we are currently doing an alt art competition. So I'll go over the details for you again for those that missed it last week. So like we did earlier in the year, we're running a competition whereby community can submit their drawings for alternate art for Curdle Cove specifically. And if your design wins, we will get your card designed by one of our artists, printed, and it will become one of the alt art cards. So not only will you have designed an Achroma card that will be a live card, but you'll also be able to get a copy of it sent to you as well. So some of the details. So how to enter: you need to create or draw an alternate art image for any card that is not legendary in the Curdle Cove Chronicle. And once you have drawn your card, you must DM it to myself in Discord, and I will submit it to the team for you. We are looking for 3 winners. We're going to be picking 1 card from each faction, and like I said, turning them into official cards. Some of the other things to mention is that when you draw your card, you should not... you can do rares. Yep, you can do rare shard, just not legendaries. You can do actions, locations, characters, any of those. And the only other rule is that you don't mix and match... you don't mix and match characters and objects. So, you know, for example, you can't take Otrix and give her a trident, for example, you know, not the trident from the card. You know, someone asked me about, could I give a character a knife? Yeah, you can give them a weapon. It just can't be the same design as one of the objects, because we don't want people getting confused between if a character is the object or is this object a character sort of thing. Yes, if your alt art wins, you do indeed get a copy of it, Taurus, as well. Yes. Absolutely. You're in the kitchen for real. These are going to be much harder to obtain than the ones from Kickstarter. Yes, absolutely. Because, you know, the ones in the Kickstarter, everybody who backed it got them. But the only people that are going to be obtaining these alt arts will be those that win. So for everyone else, you're going to have to either buy them as a single or obviously buy the pallets and a 50% chance of winning them. You're working on one right now. Very nice, Fairy. So yeah, you've got 1 week to go, folks. You have until 6 p.m. No, I think, is it 6 p.m.? I think I might have said 12 p.m. It's either 12 p.m. or 6 p.m. next Sunday that it closes. I can't remember what I wrote. You know what? Let me check the Discord, because I probably should make sure I give factual statements on this chat on this stream. Before 6 p.m. I did say 6 p.m. So yeah, make sure you DM me your entries before 6 p.m. We are allowing multiple entries, unlike last time. So if you want to do multiple drawings, you can, but be aware we can only let one of yours win. So if you submit 6 designs, that's all well and good, but if we pick one of yours, we will only pick one of yours. You know, we're not going to have one person have all 3 drawings. That's just a bit unfair. But yeah, so that is the alt art competition. If you have any further questions, you can either ask me here in stream chat or in the comments if you're watching on replay, or you can go to our Discord, link down below, go to the giveaways channel where all of the details are laid out there as well. So that is the alt art competition. The next bit of news, keeping with the theme of alt arts. So for those that don't know, we recently put the alt art cards that came out earlier in the year as purchasable singles in the Five Realms Gaming Lounge store. And there obviously was a expectation that at some point they'd be available to buy online. I can now confirm they are available to buy online. Now, because they are specifically linked to the Five Realms Gaming Lounge, where you buy them is not the Achroma.cards shop. It is, because that is the store for Achroma, the product, but you have to buy it specifically from the Five Realms Gaming Lounge website. It's a separate shop because that is a different franchise. So if you look in the link down below in the stream, you will find a link to the Five Realms Gaming Lounge website where you can now purchase any of the alt art cards online singles. So for those that don't live near the store but want to start purchasing individual singles, you can get them there on the website. Hurrah. Obviously there was talk about getting just every card up eventually as a single. That is still being looked at. I don't have a date or confirmation of exactly when that will be. Welcome in, Ashley. Good to see you. Can't catch stream tonight, but hope you're well and have a good stream. Thank you very much, as always, buddy. Great to hear from you. Will you show all the submissions when you have announced the winners? Yes, we likely will do, Shah, and I'll probably do it on a weekly stream where we'll do one big kind of like it'll be a very big community segment where I go through them all. Yes, Shah. Welcome in, Rich. Great to see you as well. Hope you're doing well. Rich, stick around for the next bit. Actually, Rich, I'm glad you're here because I've got some news for you in just a moment that you specifically are going to really like. I don't know if you already know. I think you already had hints at what was coming, Rich, but I've got a confirmation for you. I guess that certain codes don't work on 5 Realms. Oh, if you're talking about affiliate codes, I would imagine that's a no. But feel free to try. Feel free to put it in your basket and try, Lewis. The answer is I don't know, but I would imagine that affiliate ambassador codes won't work, but we'll see. I mean, they work in the 5 Realm Gaming Lounge store, don't they? Try it. I'm not too certain, if I'm honest. Yeah, report back. We'll be interesting to see. So yeah, that is the alt arts. Next bit of news is obviously a further reminder that the Draco Summer promo card is only 20 days left. So if you haven't already got a Draco Summer promo card, then make sure that you get one. You can do that either by placing a £30 order on the Achroma.cards website, and you'll get one automatically added to your basket. That is the Draco Summer promotion. If you come to the Grand Tournament, or if you purchase the Chapter 2 of Draco Planum, which is pre-order alive now, link it down below. If you pre-order or buy your Achroma Grand Tournament ticket, we are putting Draco Summers aside for those people as well, so make sure that you get those if you want your extra copies of Draco Summer, as soon as the season is over, they will not be as easily obtainable. And obviously there's only 1,200 of them, and last season we actually ran out of Salem Springs before the end, so don't think that you're safe to wait till the 30th of September. Get yours now if you haven't already. I'm waiting to place any orders for the Flutter by promo. Yeah, I know you're looking forward to that too. Cool. So the next bit of news, we're looking at events that are coming up. So as always, I appreciate it is repetitive, but we like to always mention it that at the 5 Realms Gaming Lounge in Poole, every Thursday, 6 PM till 9 PM is Achroma Thursdays, where they will normally run a Achroma tournament where prizes are based on how many people turn up. It's £5 for the mini event, but you can just come and play for free. Definitely turn up. It's always been fun. Lots of good competitions have been happening there. Definitely worth a fun evening. So come and check us out Thursdays, 6 PM until 9 PM at the Achroma store. And again, I keep forgetting to change the poster. That's on me. It's £2 entry, not £5 entry. Ignore me. But in some other news, we've got the Achroma Grand Tournament coming up in just 13 days. In fact, two weekends, 2 weeks yesterday, I should say. So the Achroma Grand Tournament, the tickets are live now if you haven't already bought yours. Again, the link is down below. And this is for the Achroma Grand Tournament in Poole, Dorset. For those who don't know, we run this Achroma Grand Tournament every 3 months. All of the rules and how it runs can be found on the Achroma.cards website under resources. There is a section for Grand Tournament info where you can see that all there as well. But I have some further news about the Grand Tournament. Trains all booked. Awesome, Shah. So there has been a bit of a want for a while. You know, there's a lot of people that will be down at the Grand Tournament. We've sold quite a few tickets already, and I know a lot of people are going to be going. But there's a lot of people that can't go to the Grand Tournament because it's just too far away. You know, there are a lot of people that are, further up north that just can't make the trip down to Poole, which is understandable. So I have some news. For the first season ever, and hopefully for a good few seasons to come, we're going to have... do I actually have an image for it? I don't think I do. Oh, that was an image. I don't have an image for it. But we do have a Draco Northern Grand Tournament. So, yeah, spoilers. I couldn't remember if I had an image for it or not. So, we are going to have a second Grand Tournament running at the same time on the same day, and it's going to be called the Northern Grand Tournament. So, you could think of almost the Grand Tournament down in Poole as the Southern Grand Tournament for now, and we're running a Northern Grand Tournament. So, on the same day, on the 23rd of September, at the same time, so 1 PM till 5 PM, obviously entries starting at 12, as always, is going to be happening at Boards and Swords Hobbies in Derby. So, this is going to split the party a bit, because obviously some people will be going down to Poole, but for those that can't make it to Poole, maybe you're further up north or in the Midlands, then you can get your tickets right now for the Boards and Swords Achroma official Northern Grand Tournament. The link is down below. So it's going to be running exactly the same. So just like the tournament down, well, Derby isn't North. Yeah, admittedly, it's not proper North. I get that. But it's the Northern one for now. Maybe if we get one up near Scotland at some point, Nutritious, then Derby will become the Midlands, and then we'll have the South and the North. So to be very clear for the Bash Grand Tournament, it is still an official Achroma tournament. So it's not Bash running something separately. It is being endorsed and ran by myself. So I'm sorry to disappoint anybody that is going down to the Grand Tournament pool, but that will still be run by Chillman, as you can see in the lovely photo there. And I believe Sarah is going to be helping out as well. But I will be running the Grand Tournament in Boards and Swords Hobbies in Derby. So yeah, it will run exactly the same. So it'll be the same day. It'll be run at the same time. It'll be the same rule set. It will also be £6 entry, the same as down in pool. The rules will be exactly the same. So again, if you go to achroma.cards under the resources tab to where it says Grand Tournament info, all of the, how it's going to run is going to be exactly the same, but it's just going to be at Boards and Sword Hobby. So Rich, I need your help, Rich, because I know that you sort of spearhead the Bash crew of players. You need to spread the word and get as many people going as possible. I believe the limit is 44 players. I'd love to see us get close to that number. So as many people as possible, let's get them involved, Rich. That would be great. So yeah, unfortunately, the sad news there, the sad news there is it means that I won't be down at the Grand Tournament in pool, which does sadden me because I do love going down to those events. I'll say now, folks, it won't necessarily be me running the Bash one every season. So, I will be down at pool again. It's not that I'm going to suddenly never be down in pool. But unfortunately, I won't be there for this Grand Tournament because I'm going to run the first Bash one. I'd go Orkley, Taurus closer than Derby. Oh yeah, maybe we can get one up north, even further up north. We'll have to find another excuse to come see us. Oh, absolutely. I mean, there'll probably be what I'll probably do in terms of for those that want to see me again. Obviously, don't forget that on the I'm not sure exactly which weekend it'll be. It'll probably be the first weekend of October, but it might be the second. There will obviously be the narrative event. Yeah. I will make the effort to come down for the Sparta narrative event. So for those that want to come and play some games with me in store again, the Sparta narrative event is where the next time I will likely be down, unless there's a reason for me to come down sooner. But yeah, so if that's the big news. So whether if you're going to the pool or the Bash one, the link is down. Oh, sorry, the links are down below. Buy your tickets for the Grand Tournament. It's gonna be awesome. But yeah, so that is that bit of news. Okay, finally made it back in. Just heard from my friend Sheffield was a good turnout. Yeah, we were talking about it, Heron. It was really, really good. Also, Heron, I'm not sure if it would interest you. I appreciate Sheffield is a little bit north, but did you just hear the news, Heron, that there's going to be an Achroma Grand Tournament in Boards and Swords Hobbies on the 23rd of September? It's mirroring the Achroma Grand Tournament down in Poole. So we're going to have it the same time, same day, same prizes, same entry cost. It's kind of like a Southern Grand Tournament and Northern Grand Tournament, and I'm going to be running it. So get your tickets. Bash, set it in your diary. September 23rd, 12 p.m. till 12:45 will be sign up. 1 p.m. Will be when we start. And it should be 5 p.m. when we finish. You live in Nottingham. Perfect. Awesome. Hopefully, we'll see you there, Heron. But yeah, so that is the events. Now, would you guys now like to see the previews? Charlie, we have to get the two. Yes, so that was my plan, actually. There's nothing official set in plan because obviously the winner might not be on Discord. But if the two winners of the two grand tournaments are able to, then absolutely we are going to facilitate a Discord game. Maybe, we should do it on stream. We'll do it on stream. No worries, Fairy. If we can do it, we'll have it so that the kind of the grand tournament mix-up, like a cage match, can be the Realm Table segment on the Sunday afterwards. That's obviously if the two people that win are able to play online and are willing to join me on stream. But yeah, that would be fun, wouldn't it? That would actually be really cool. I look forward to that. But yeah, so let's have a look at the previews. So the previews I have for you this week are from obviously the upcoming Chapter 2 Draco Planum sets. I believe I have 5 or 6 images for you today. It is 5 images. And these are all locations. So as a reminder, you're not about to see the actual cards themselves, as in like the abilities and the resolve effects. And the reason for that is we mentioned in last week's stream that in previous lead-ups to releases, we've quite often shown lots of early cards, but the issue is, until we actually send them off to the printer, cards can quite often be changed, and we've had some feedback that people didn't really like it, that we were showing cards, and they're going, wow, look at that, that's really cool, and then by the time the cards actually get in your hands, they've changed, for the better or worse. So we're not actually showing any physical cards nowadays until we've actually sent them to the printer and they're not changing. So what we're showing you instead, folks, is the card artwork, which I think someone said in Discord earlier. What's nice about this is it gives everybody an opportunity to theorize and get an idea of, oh, what do we think that location's going to be? Is this Achroma? Is this Chroma? Is this Achroma? What effect might this have? So last week we looked at some of the characters. Let's have a look at some of the locations. Now, I haven't seen these fully, but I have seen the thumbnails for them, and I can already tell that we're going to have some nice wallpaper material here. Are we ready? Let's do it. So here's the first one. So we've got like a frozen river with some kind of rocks. The thing that stands, I mean, firstly, beautiful image. It's kind of it's beautifully dull, if that makes sense. I hope that doesn't come across as negative. But like, there's not really much going on, but it's just really calm and beautiful. It's the flag that gets me. It's the fact that if you take away the flag, I'd say, yeah, that's just a frozen river. But the flag being there and the fact it's torn tells me, is this somewhere that maybe has been fought for? Is this almost like a battleground where a battle has been won or lost? Someone's claimed it and that flag has just been destroyed. Like an abandoned outpost. Yeah, exactly like that, Lewis. That's yeah, like a last stand. Exactly. You guys are getting what I'm putting out. But yeah, absolutely beautiful card. Again, even though it's complete lack of color, it is really, really beautiful. So that's the first one. Very, very cool. Let me know what you think of that. Let's have a look at the second one then, shall we? Oh, look at that. I didn't notice the stars when I saw the thumbnail. That is absolutely epic. That is some Draco. Yeah, I'm calling it now. I want that to be a hot tub. Hot tub card. Got that lovely little flame. Imagine sitting in that. It looks like a bit of a pool, doesn't it? Imagine sitting in that pool, just looking out to those amazing mountains and those beautiful stars. The only thing that would make that better is imagine if you saw like a little dragon just like flying around the mountain in the distance. That is beautiful. Very, very nice indeed. I think this is definitely going to be I reckon there's going to be a Chroma location. Yeah, there's going to be some form of like Draco Temple type thing. This is going to be wherever the dragons live. Yeah, maybe a hot spring. Yeah, it could be a hot spring. Yeah, very true. I imagine you got to stay warm somehow in that frozen tundra. Very nice. But the fact that fire, that's not a natural fire either. That's a purple fire. That's magic, folks. That's not, if it was a regular fire, it'd be, regular red and orange, right? So is that maybe a magic? Who knows? But yeah, very nice. Let's look at the third one. There we go. So there's a fire. Might be a potassium fire. Yeah, that is true. Maybe some magenta fire. Might be some potassium involved. But look at this one for a contrast. So where that previous image was almost like you could almost get an idea that it was maybe like some form of Draco Temple. This one, this is either Achroma or the neutral. This is people hidden in a little cave dwelling. Like a little survival cave. But hey, there's worse places to camp out, am I right? Look at that roaring fire. That fire is giving me Howl's Moving Castle fire vibes. Can you guys see that as well? That is awesome. First two are awesome writing lesson fodder. Yeah. What do you reckon? What do you reckon the learning you can get out of that is nutritious for your students? This also proves the Planum isn't all sky. Yes, very true as well. Yeah, it looks like Vast Volataris. Yeah, so this definitely looks. This isn't floating. Yeah, this realm definitely, you're absolutely right. So this realm isn't a floating mountains realm. This is definitely on the ground. Want to roast some marshmallows? Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, a Draco cave dwelling, it's beautiful. Yeah, exactly. I don't see anything floating. Yeah. All right, so that's number 3. So we've got 2 more to go. Let me know if you guys want to see any of these again. And all of these will be in the Discord post-stream. So next one. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, what we need to do is we need to take that image. We need to animate it so that the tree is like just moving in the breeze. And we need some Achroma lo-fi over the top of it. And that's like Achroma lo-fi right there. A tree in a frozen lake. Yeah. That must, that must be some deep roots. That is beautiful. Look at the colors on that. That like, well, you know, I don't know whether that's a sunset or a sunrise. I like to think that's a sunrise. I like to think of it as a sunrise, but I guess we won't know. But yeah, that is beautiful. I hope that's like a rare or legendary. Well, probably not legendary, being just a tree. But I hope that's like a rare. That's really pretty. Yeah, you know what, Heron? You're not wrong. That's not a drawing. That's literally a photo. Again, credit where credit is due. These have been done, obviously, by Matt Vince, you know, one of our main artists, and he has outdone himself here. The mechanic names are public. Yes, Lewis. Just what the abilities actually are not public. So yes. So as a reminder, the ability names are freeze and hunt. So I imagine this is probably going to have a keyword freeze on it. Surely. Yeah, this must be a freeze card. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, lovely. So we've got one more to go. I'll be honest, so far, this is my favorite one. I don't know if this can be topped. Welcome in, Daniel. I like this idea of showing artwork. Yeah, me too. You know, people were saying in Discord that it's quite nice because just with the artwork, it gives you that opportunity to really, firstly, appreciate the artwork, because so you don't just go straight to what the ability is. Also, you know, on the card, when this turns into a card, you're not going to get the full 4x3 image. You're going to get a 16x9. So it's nice that we're seeing a more wider image. And it's nice that we get to appreciate the artwork before an ability gets slapped on it. So yeah, I agree. Thank you for the feedback. But all right, we've got one more to go. And I don't know if it can top this one. I don't know about you guys, but this is my favorite so far. Oh, that's nice. That is... Look at those clouds, man. Oh, I just noticed. What's nice about this one, folks... Yeah, it's a lookout. That is a dragon perch. That is definitely, I mean, a human-sized door, a dragon-sized perch. Yeah, that's nice. Daniel, will there be a postcard for pre-ordering? That's a very good question, of which I don't know the answer to, Daniel. I will make a note of it right now, before I forget. You know, I'm going to literally ask in my help chat now. I'm going to do it right now so I don't forget. Question from stream. Will there be postcards this time round? There we go. I'll see if I get an answer during stream. But if I don't, I will make sure to let you guys know next week or during Discord. I was thinking cannon. Oh, I mean, it could be a cannon. You're absolutely right, actually, Shah. Maybe that is a cannon. Maybe it's like a snow machine. Can you imagine if actually it wasn't naturally snowy and that was just like, it would just pump out snow from the top of the mountain so it would fall down? That'd be quite cool. Maybe it's just an air conditioning pipe. Who knows? I'm hoping that it's a dragon perch. Yeah, this is above the clouds too, so very, very high. Very cool. Okay, so I want to know, folks. I'll go through them again. I want to know. Yes, lo-fi music. I want to know which one is your favorite. Which one is your favorite location so far? So we've got number one, the one that looks like maybe a last stand battle. We've got number two, which is, we're just going to call it hot tub staring at the mountains. We've got number three, which is essentially Draco cave dwelling. We've got number four, which is a tree goes ice skating. And we've got number five, which is cabin on the mountains. What do we think? 1, 2, 3, or 5? I think it's very close. If I had to rank them in terms of which ones are my favorites, I'd go 1, the frozen lake. 2, I'd probably go this one. 3, I'd go this one. 4, I'd go that one, and then 5, this one. Again, I still love this one. I'm a sucker for a nice sunset. Nutritious, you say number 1. William, your lad, says number 4, so the tree, very nice. Rich says number 1 and 2, the tree. Fair play. A couple of you like the first one, very nice. Lewis just likes all of them. Oh, no, you've put... so, Lewis, actually, interesting that 3 of you actually really like that one the most. Hot damn, fair play. Lewis says 1, 2, 4, 5, 3. Heron, you go number 4 as well. Sarah, you say 4, yeah. Very nice. Beautiful images. So yeah, I will find out for you if these are going to be available as postcards. As soon as I get the answer, I will let you guys know. But in the meantime, these images will be on the Discord server. I don't know what size I've currently got these at. Let me just double check what size these images are. Let me check the properties. They are currently only 1867 by 1400. So they might make good phone wallpapers as they are. They probably wouldn't make good PC wallpapers. I will find out as soon as possible whether we will have 16 by 9 4K versions for the website as soon as possible, because that'd be lovely. I think we still need to get the Cove ones on the website as well. Is there any chance of getting previous cards in this format so we can see more too? I will certainly ask. It depends on whether they were already drawn. If they were drawn like this already and then they were just moved the cards, then I will certainly get them released. If they weren't drawn like this before, then we probably won't pay the artist to just redraw those cards. It's unlikely, but I will certainly see. Awesome. It's the story of one that makes it stand out, or the possible story. Yeah. What happened here exactly? You know what, Nutritious? If you end up doing an exercise with your school kids of like, hey, here's the image, write a short story on what do you think happened here. I would love it if you could tell me some of the short stories that they sent, and maybe I could read a couple out if they're quite short on stream. That could be quite cool for some creative writing. Or you know what? Or maybe you know what? I mean, I'm gonna have a bit of fun. Let's do a bit of fun. This won't. No postcard plan this round. Okay, that's fair enough, Sheriff. Hey, Sheriff, Dan. Considering you're in the stream, do you? I think I might come up with a giveaway idea. We haven't done a giveaway in a few weeks. I don't mind it coming out of my budget, Dan. Considering I'm just on fly. How about this? We're doing alt art competitions. That's always fun. Do you guys want a bit of a creative writing giveaway for a bit of fun or a competition? Where what we could do is, how about we set a 2-week competition where everybody has to submit if they want to, a creative writing. We'll say 1,000 words or less. You know, nothing big. 1,000 words or less. It could literally be a 2-sentence story if you wanted to, and it's simply going to be what happened here. Yeah, would that be fun for you guys? You guys like doing some writing? What happened here? You know, you can keep it on theme of Draco themed. If you want to do it, it could be like a Battle of the Five Realms. Yeah, awesome. We'll do it. I'll figure out the price. I'll figure out whatever prizes we're going to give away, and I'll put it in the Discord tomorrow. It'll probably be a relatively small giveaway because we've done quite a few big ones recently, but that sounds fun, doesn't it? Yeah, we'll do that. Awesome. And thank you, Dan, for confirming about the postcards. So no postcards this time round, but we'll certainly try and get them as wallpapers for you guys as soon as possible. Awesome. Great. Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed those. So again, those will be in the Discord straight after stream. And please, enter the school stuff too. And enter, that'd be fantastic. And we'll read out some of the best ones on stream. That'd be awesome. Lovely. So that is the end of the Achroma news, events, and previews, which brings us perfectly onto the next section, which is the realm table. Very good. The fire dragons were driven out. The river frosting over in icy silence. Oh, you're already starting. Love it, Fairy. Love it. These location images have been cropped, top and bottom cut off. Lovely. So do we, again, sorry to put pressure on you, Dan, do we happen to have 16 by 9 versions, or do you reckon we'll have those to go out as posters at some point, as in like either posters people can purchase or on the website that people can have as like, desktop pictures and stuff like that? Obviously, I appreciate that's not a top priority for us. We've got lots of other stuff to do, but cool. So, whilst Dan answers that, obviously, if you have any other questions about the Achroma news, events, and previews, let me know in the chat. But we're now going to move swiftly on to the realm table. So, as I mentioned at the start of the stream, this week's topic is going to be an interesting one, as it's something that's been talked about a lot in the last few weeks. And with 2 grand tournaments coming up, wallpapers, yep, fantastic. Thank you, Dan. So yeah, with 2 grand tournaments now coming up, obviously the one that's, I'm not sure if you were here early in the stream, Dan, that we have now had it confirmed. We've got the grand tournament happening at Bash. It's going to be awesome. A interesting topic for this week is talking about the current meta in Achroma. Now, don't worry, for those who don't know what meta means, we are going to discuss it at the start of this realm table segment, what it means. But joining me on stream this week, please everybody give a hello in chat to Taurus. So let me get Taurus on stream. Hello, buddy. How are you doing?
Hello.
Welcome in.
How are you doing?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, pretty good. Good to be back on stream again, It's been a while, so...
What was the last community segment we had you on? I can't remember now.
Oh, probably one of the tournament recaps.
Probably, yeah, it probably was that.
Yeah, most likely.
Fair play.
Yes.
And, the fact that you've been in tournaments, and I know that you are going to... I think you was with Hen. I think...
yes, it was, yes.
That's right.
Good memory, Lewis. Remembering better than me.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously, you've been in the grand tournament. I know you used to be involved in esports as well, so you're the perfect person to talk about with the meta. But firstly, before we get into it, Taurus, how have your Achroma games been this week? What have you been up to? I know you've been meeting up with some of your friends in a pub for Achroma, I believe. How have they been?
Yeah, we've been cooking stuff up for the grand tournament, as we all want to run something that we've personally cooked rather than just bringing along a meta.
The meta,
deck. Yeah, funny. Yeah, we've all been coming up with ideas. Just more fun decks that we've come up with ourselves. We're going again tomorrow, I think, to do some more testing and figure stuff out. So yeah, mostly just that. Any sneak peek of the cooking? I'm unbenching the Lost Fairies, hopefully.
No, honestly, Lost Fairies, Draco Graveyard, and Purth have been incredibly powerful recently.
It's kind of nutty. I wasn't playtesting that last week because I was trying something else, but I'm gonna bring that along tomorrow just to give it a shot because I haven't played with it yet.
So
but it's kind of bonkers. So
I was playing in some games today with Lewis, Shah, and Sarah, and I played a couple of games versus Draco palettes. Draco Graveyard and Purth. Absolutely disgusting. The fact that every turn, drop 2 cards, replay Purth, that gets another card out and another 5 drain. It's crazy powerful.
It's very good.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of very good then, so we're going to talk about in this roundtable about meta. So firstly, what do we mean by the term meta? Now, there's no real set definition of what this word means. It's very contextual. So I'll come to you first, Taurus. What's your meaning when someone says, "Oh, I'm going to play the meta"? What does that mean to you?
Meta used to stand back in the day for most effective tactic available. But nowadays it's just kind of a word that's used for the best. In esports, it's generally just the best characters or the best strategy to pick, the best team comp, whatever. It tends to just be the best thing available. People don't really refer to it in terms of the acronym anymore, even though it still really means that.
Yeah. Now, obviously, feel free to get involved in chat as well, folks. So if you have any different opinions or anything to say, please do mention in chat and we will be reading it as we go along. So for me personally, what I understood the meta as for a long time was kind of a bit more of a specific branch than what you just said. Whereas I always thought of meta not necessarily as the best thing, but it's about countering. So if I knew that you were going to be playing, I don't know, let's say I knew you were going to be playing traders, a meta deck would be me purposely building a palette that purposely counters you. It's me choosing something that is a perfect counter to you.
Yes.
But I think in Achroma, I think the better way to talk about meta is how you said it is. It's talking about, in simple English, we're talking about what is the best palette you could bring to any given game and have the highest chance of winning.
Yeah, I've literally made a note on my screen saying that for Achroma, I consider it to be the fastest and most consistent deck.
Yes.
Fastest to win, just to clarify. But yeah, at the moment, the Ray deck, it's the most consistent and it's the fastest, so it's the best deck in the game right now. And we're going to go on to talk about the old decks that
yes, we are,
claimed that spot. I've actually got one that you didn't send me.
Okay, interesting. So, but yeah, so it's I want to bring up a point you just mentioned there about it's definitely about consistency, isn't it? Because a lot of people in chat could turn around and say, "Hey, but take Vast Volataris and loads of research. Wow, that's meta." Well, is that an incredibly powerful palette that, when it works well, is incredibly powerful? Yes, but you play 100 games of it and you might only win 30 of them. It very much depends on when the cards come out compared to those consistent palettes.
I'm one of the OG Vast Volataris abusers, so yeah, I am that guy. So it's not the best.
Yeah,
it's very good, but yeah.
Lewis says BDIF is a common one in Pokemon. What do you mean by that, Lewis? Or is that like
I've never heard BDIF?
Is that, are you saying that's the meta in Pokemon, or are you saying is that like an acronym that people use for meta? Fairbird says my deck often one hits but isn't so consistent. So yeah, that's a really, really good palette, but not necessarily it's not necessarily a meta. Honestly, I think Achroma Breach Pixies.
Achroma Breach Pixies is the one that I've actually noted down.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what we were going to talk about next is, I appreciate there's a lot of we've got a lot of people in chat. Some people have joined the community quite recently. Some have been in a while. I think, has anybody, I mean, feel free to say that. Does anyone in chat predate me? Obviously Dan, Sheriff of Nothing, because I joined in May 2021 is when I first started playing.
I doubt anyone predates you.
May 2021? No, May 2022.
I was about to say.
Yeah, 2022. Yeah. But yeah, so what we're going to talk about now, yeah, you were also made, so you're about the same, Sarah. So what we're going to talk about now is, all of the metas that have kind of gone through. Because one of the biggest things that comes out about metas is people sometimes think metas are, oh my gosh, that's game changing. Nothing's ever going to beat that. That's always going to be the best palette. It's not. Things change. So when
it always does.
Yeah. So when I first joined in May 2022, at that point, the only Chronicles that were out were Curse of Curdle Hill and Draco Temple. At that point in time, and obviously no expansions, at that point in time, what was the first, what I would consider meta palette? Like, if someone played it, you would let out a sigh, because you were like, oh, I'm playing against that, am I? Okay, I'm going to struggle here. Was actually Detective Cronus with Mage's Elites.
It feels weird to say it,
because
Cronus was
nowadays she gets
side.
Yeah, nowadays she gets forgotten about, but the fact she is +3 for each Mage's Elite, and it's so easy to like get 3 Mage's Elites out one turn, and then drop a Cronus, and suddenly you got a +12 character.
And add Huxon, you just win instantly, pretty much. It's crazy.
And people still don't play her that much, but she hasn't changed. She's still just as very good.
She's still bonkers. Like, if you can get her out consistently, I mean, control or GG.
But we both know what brought her down, right?
Oh, yes. Hen's not in the chat, fortunately, otherwise he'd be having the
chat.
Oh, is he?
No, he's not. I said he's not. Yeah, he's not.
If Hen was in the chat, he'd be having flashbacks, and
he would be. Yeah, he hated
what they take from me. No, the old murky mana was slightly too strong.
So I'll bring
to put it.
I'll bring up Murky Mana on here. Let me just bring up this image as a background. So for those that don't know, so Murky Mana, if I just bring it up here, so this is the current Murky Mana.
That's current mana, yeah.
Which is reveal. But so for those that don't know, Murky Mana used to be action. Find a card with Achroma and immediately deploy it for free. So what people learned quite after a while is people would build a palette that had Murky Mana, Isadora, and then loads of Mage's Elites. And then all you would do is you would fill your board with Mage's Elites for loads of Chroma, and then suddenly you would then use Murky Mana. Just became like a second way to get your Isadora, and you would then just drop Isadora and suddenly have like 8 or 9 steel, which to be fair,
one shot.
You can still do now, but you just have to make it so that the only, like before, you could still have a hostile takeover or whatever in there. You can now still do it, but it has to be the only card in your palette that with Achroma, which is the kicker.
You have to play the rune game and only have Isadora in there. I've mentioned it on stream before, but that first game I played against Hen at the first Grand Tournament, where we were both just constantly drawing to get mana, it's just, that just shouldn't be a thing, but,
Wasn't the first Grand Tournament, so yeah, around the Isadora Old Murky Mana meta, that was when we had one of the first Grand Tournaments, and wasn't like the last 5 people in the tournament all running it?
Oh,
or something like that.
Maybe, because I had to leave early that time.
I'm pretty certain.
So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But that tournament is why mana got nerfed.
It was,
because everybody was there just pulling Isadora and trying to one-shot turn 1.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Because I'm pretty sure that before Acrom Breach and Pyorth, mana Isadora like turn 1 with the correct first hand was the one-shot combo before Acrom Breach.
So a few comments we've got, and you guys have already predicted some of the other ones we were going to say. What we got here? So Heron UK Games Expo, the one before last lockdown. Playing Chroma says Traders was a beast. Yep. So Traders, I've got like a timeline. Traders is coming up in that timeline. That I agree, that was the best for a while. I guess the rule changes affect the meta too. I expect the attack step change was a big one. Yes, absolutely. As soon as you could, when we made it so that you could now play objects before attacking, that massively helped things like the Lakringi.
Why Giga buffed Wishwell,
yeah. Why Murky Mana? Why not Hexclunker? So Hexclunker is also in this list. Don't worry. It's just that he didn't get good for a while. I say they didn't get good for a while. As we know from rune builds, have multiple ways of getting legendary out. Yeah, basically any way of being able to get your legendary out sooner stronger. Copper Joss, Copper Joss was the next one I was about to say. So what kind of knocked Isadora and Old Murky Mana off its little pedestal is when Murky Mana got nerfed. At that point, Copper Joss became you play it, you are suddenly everybody's targets you sort of thing, right?
Joss Painters was the next one. shortly. I mean, I'm not sure I'd consider Spiral Painters to be like a counter to Joss or anything, but it's definitely still a very strong deck.
Yeah, I think it's around the time that Lewis got into the game. Oh, was it?
Yes,
no,
probably.
it wasn't. No, it wasn't Lewis. Do you remember? I don't think he's in the stream today, but do you remember? What's his name? He has come in the community a couple of times recently. Adam. It was.
Oh yeah. Adams,
Roberts.
Yeah, that's why I was running Spiral Painters for a while.
Yeah.
Because Adam did it originally. I thought, yeah, that works.
So he created it.
That.
Yeah, So for those who don't know, he created a Spiral Painters palette, which was essentially a Copper Joss palette with loads of painters with a couple of pixies, and then Spiral. And didn't he have a way of it's not that he had a way of finding Spiral, but in that palette you have like 4 or 5 different ways to dig for Spiral back, so as soon as you get rid of him he just comes back again.
I think that was his version of the deck. No, there wasn't a way to pull Spiral. My version of the deck was a little bit less optimal because I didn't have like the Mrs. Potts or anything like that to dig Spiral back, but I had a Spiral and 2 Ravaged Elites to potentially get the one-shot on turn 1, pretty much, if you pulled them both, which is vile to play into.
Yeah.
Because if you think someone's running a Painter's deck and then suddenly, haha, I just insta-delete you.
Yeah.
Nothing much you can do about that.
Yeah, and like Lewis said as well, Spiral deck, yeah, if you put in 2 gates, sorry, I'm really hot in here, 2 gates, 2 infirmaries, put in a Miss Potts as well for good value. Yeah, you so many ways to
He just never goes away.
Yeah. Dexter Painter is actually overpowered. Oh, I've not seen that. I'd love to see that. Can you post a picture of that palette in the Discord?
Yeah,
there? I'd love to see that.
I want to see that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I really want to see that.
Yeah, me
that
too.
Sounds sick.
Statistic says, does anyone play Murky now? I'll be honest, no. I mean, occasionally I've seen it on occasion, but for the most part, the rune is I think before the expansion came out, Murky still got played occasionally. I think most people will now prefer playing Pure over Murky Mana because it kind of does the same thing. Yeah. But you still use it? Fair enough.
Coming through.
Again,
I do. I use it.
It is still an okay card. I think. Where do we put it in the Where do we put it in the tier list? Does anyone remember where we put it in the tier list?
I think
we put it on
remember.
Like maybe C or B tier. I think maybe.
It's not the worst card because 6 shard cards will always be good for trading. But
yeah, and it's still a -2.
Yeah.
And you're reading a card and playing it for free.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It can't be that bad. It's not what it used to be.
It's not its former self. Yeah.
No.
So following Spiral Painters, the next meta that came after that was Traders, when
everyone realized how good Traders were.
Yeah, which was weird because when Wishful first came out, people were like, "Oh, trade, that's quite cool," and no one really dabbled with it much. And then over the month, people started more and more realizing, "Hey, this is strong." And I would consider that was the first palette for me that I genuinely looked at and went, "Has the game been broken?" Like it was so strong for a while.
I think people figured out how to use Trader's Lifeline to its fullest potential, and then just went,
it was a skill issue.
That's it. Skill issue, yeah, deal with it. I'm going to play Solitaire over here, and there's nothing you can do about it. I think the issue with Traders, though, is that you are very, very reliant on having the trade setup. It's very easy to dismantle by just nicking 1 or 2 cards, dismantling 1 or 2 bits, and the whole thing just kind of falls apart.
Yeah. And normally when people play Traders, people will, especially in a 3 to 6 player game, people will normally hit the Traders early, and then they're right, they're not a threat now, and they'll move on to someone else.
Yeah.
Lewis says, I'm worried about Wishful Chapter 2. Yeah. If we had a few high shard cards, it could be Raiders Part 2. Yeah, I don't disagree.
It could be.
And I
remember I was playing. Oh, sorry.
No, go on, you go.
I remember I was playing a game against one of my guys at the pub where he was on four shards, played a Trader's Lifeline, and went up to like 18 without actually deploying anything, and I just went, oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I almost won the Traders today.
It's still strong.
It's still very, very strong. Like, again, and this is what's funny. Every single one of these palettes that we're talking about, except for maybe Isadora Old Murky Manor, every single one of these palettes we're talking about is still incredibly strong. But it's just interesting how the power is just slowly creeping up.
I'd say that Cronus Magus Elites have been power crept out a little bit, but it's still a good deck.
I'll be honest.
Definitely.
I would say Cronus Magus Elites have had a buff recently because when you now add Kelby, when you add Kelby, you add the one that allows you the new Mage Sleep that allows you to 4 cost restrain something and block 2
guards,
prevent 2.
The Watchman, whatever.
The
it's
Watchman,
called.
yeah. Basically, we've added a few more Mages
good.
Elite and Kelby specifically. Like Kelby has gone into my Cronus deck. That's actually now even better. But yeah, so the next one that came after Traders was after the expansion. And you know what? This one is funny because this one is Hex Clunker. And when Hex Clunker started becoming a thing, people started panicking, going, "Oh my gosh, you just can't beat it." But it's funny because of all of the metas we've spoken about so far, I would argue Hex Clunker had the shortest reign.
Hex Clunker, well, I put Achroma Breach Pixies before Hex Clunker Torture Chamber.
True.
Because that did happen for a while, but then everyone just went, "Oh, Hex Clunker is just insane."
It is insane.
To be fair, that is the first time that I thought when I was properly in the game and not like and not kind of new to it. I think that's the first time I thought, "How do I beat this? This is not okay."
Yeah.
Hex Clunker couldn't outpace Ray. Yeah, Lewis.
Exactly why.
Hits the nail on the head. Hex Clunker showed up for a while, and then Echo went, "I'm cooking, guys."
Yeah.
And then Ray came out, and we all just went, "Okay, cool, nice."
Heron says, I wouldn't say power creep. I'd say, yeah, you know what, you're right. We just now...
That's fair.
Yeah, a meta comes out, and then, a meta comes out, everybody starts playing it, it scares everybody for a while, and then people find counters or new cards come out, new things change, and then suddenly... It's not the meta anymore. And a bit like the Toy Story meme, as soon as there are counters, it's like, I don't want to play with you anymore.
Yeah. Gone. Also, meta creates anti-meta. Yeah, I think we're going to go on to discuss that.
I mean, the last meta to talk about, unless anyone in chat thinks we've missed one, coming to the current day and age, the current meta is Raiders. So for those who don't know what Raiders is, to give a bit of context, so Raiders is using the legendary that I've got here, Ray. And the reason it's called Raiders is it's essentially using a Sparata palette, including Ray, but it's essentially the whole point of the palette is burst cards and high value trade cards. So I think there's something like 11 or 12 cards in that palette that are 5 or 6 shards. So you've got lots of big trade fodder. And then you've got cards like Ray that is 1 cost for +5. Full
Fire
pallets.
Tender into Ray,
full pallets for 2. No, I mean, you could 1-turn win by, I appreciate this is luck of the draw, but let's say in your hand you top decked Ray, 2 full pallets, and 2 six card costs. You play Ray and both full pallets for 5 shards. You resolve for 17 shards. So that would be down to 5 plus 17, 23. And then you only need 7 worth of trade. So you only need a 4 shard and a 3 shard, and you win. It's crazy, Raiders.
That's why you want to go first into the Ray deck, even if you're playing Achroma. Yeah. I fell for this at the last tournament. It's a really nasty tactic that's very smart, actually. The deck wants to go second, even though it's a Chroma deck. It's really cool. Very, very cool.
Because you want to do the double trade.
Yes.
But yeah, and I think the scariest thing about Raiders being the current meta, and
it's the speed.
Is and we'll talk a little bit more about this as well. But the reason why Ray, when you look at all of the other metas we've spoken about, it's about certain cards comboing to make a good thing. With Raiders, it's the speed, and it's the fact that there's not there's not even 5 cards that you could remove 5 cards from that palette. You could pass me your Raiders deck as you're an opponent. I could nick 5 cards out of your palette, hand it back to you, play, and you'd still probably wipe the floor. It's the issue with Raiders is that it's too much trading that you can't really stop, because there's only a couple of ways. I mean, I think the best counters to Raiders at the moment are cards that stop trading, which is only a couple of, or what I'd really like to see. I mean, it counts getting very lucky, but like the new sacrificial Uvu into sacrificial Uvu into sacrificial ritual play.
Yes.
Where you make your opponent discard 4 cards.
Discard all of their cards, yeah.
If you get lucky enough to get that in your first hand. Yeah, Shah knows. Shah did it today to us.
I've done that to someone. It's hilarious. I mean, yeah. I think it will be kind of interesting to do like a white room test where we just have someone with a Ray deck and just keep making them discard a random card every game to see how long it takes for it to not be an effective deck anymore. And just on what Lewis said, if you're Achroma versus Ray, you want to go first. Yes, you do. Because you want to set up the board, and I think it depends exactly on what you have, but setting up the board can work. I think it can go either way depending on the raid decks firsthand. But yeah, that's the point. It's just crazy.
And so that's where we currently are with the meta, and it brings me on to my next question, which I'm interested to hear what you say, Taurus, but I'm also really interested to hear what you guys say in the Discord, because this might split the room. You can't really stop metas from forming. They will form in any game. But my question for you guys: are metas in a card game a good thing? A couple of points I had first, and then we'll see what you had as well, Taurus. So the kind of the positives of having metas is, I think someone's already mentioned in the chat, is that, it encourages that creative thinking. I've seen a lot of people almost rise up to the challenge of, hey, I want to try and find the counter to raiders.
Gotta beat it, yeah.
Exactly. And it also encourages people to just find just generally the next best thing. So even if it's not a counter to raiders, just, I want to build something stronger. However, the kind of the negative side of metas is, I'm sure we've all had it where you play a game, you play your first cards, you notice, oh, my opponent's playing raiders, and suddenly your heart sinks and you go, oh, all right, yeah, great. Yeah, cool. It's going to be that game, is it? It does disappoint you when you're like, oh, great. You almost lose faith of being able to win. So yeah, it can be quite almost disheartening, especially to new players, I think, as Nutrition said. So what do you think, Taurus? Can metas be a positive thing in a card game?
I think, my first point on my little notepad is whether or not the meta is good, or whether the idea of a meta is good. It's always going to happen because there's always going to be the competitive player strive to find the most optimal deck. Well, but I do think having a meta is a good thing because we've got people like Ferrybread who will go out of their way to try and counter comp it. I'm sorry, counter deck it. I'm speaking esports now.
That's right.
Yeah, they'll go out of their way to counter deck and figure something out, and it forces people. It doesn't force people, but it encourages people to not make the game stale, because we could all just go, okay, well, pack it up, guys. Raise it. We've solved the game, but. But, we're not going to do that because that's not fun, that's not interesting, and, yeah, nobody wants it to be meta forever. It won't be meta forever, and whether that's down to new cards coming out or somebody figuring out something different, it won't last forever. So I think it is a good thing overall. The only time a meta becomes stale is when it lasts for too long.
Yeah, nothing changes.
But I don't know about other card games, but I'm not sure if metas have lasted too long in Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh or MTG or anything like that. But I know that in the esports that I follow, when the meta gets stale, it sucks. It's so bad to watch.
You know what? For me,
in the scene.
I know it's slightly off topic. For me, it was, does anybody else, I know you do, Pete, but I'm not sure in the chat, Overwatch
I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say.
What was it called? What was it called?
Goats Meta.
Goats Meta. That was so boring to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. For a quick TLDR, you play, back before Overwatch 2 came out, you play 3 tanks, 3 supports, and just bunker on the point and walk over everybody. It was so boring, it lasted for 2 years.
But it worked so well that you could not do it if you were doing comp, So
it was so dumb.
Let's see some of the comments then. So, where did I ask the question? So, I think any of the cards that stop their resolve should be in all decks. Yeah. Lewis says, I don't think metas are good or a bad thing. Metas allow for anti-meta decks to come to light, or off-meta decks. Yeah, absolutely.
Agreed.
Fairy says, in some case, it's not even fun to play. Yeah. Lewis says, as long as, I like what Lewis said. As long as the meta is healthy, that's the main thing, which I would maybe say that Raiders is borderline unhealthy, but we'll see how it goes.
It's close, I think. It's close.
Nutrition says, I think a game has to have a meta. It can't be good or bad. It just is. More important how it's engaged with. And you know what? That's coming to the point I think Taurus was saying that, me and Taurus were having a bit of a chat before the stream started, and it comes down to if you're playing in a competitive setting, for example, the Grand Tournament turning up, there will naturally be some people like Taurus and his little crew that are coming down that, will say, hey, we don't want to play Raiders. We're going to play our own little palettes. And naturally, there will be people that go, I want my absolute best chances of winning, so I'm going to bring Raiders. And that's fine, because it's a Grand Tournament. But I think where the community shines the most is, there's nothing wrong with occasionally playing Raiders in a community game, but I've noticed, at least from the people that I play games with, you don't get anybody that just goes, I'm just going to play Raiders every game. People know that's a strong palette. I'll put that to one side. Let's play some fun games. So as long as the community balances it, it's okay, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit sweaty as well if you show up at the tournament and just say and then cry about facing raiders or like whatever
Yeah,
the
it's
meta
a
deck
tournament.
is, because it's a tournament. What do you expect? Like,
People are
come
gonna bring
on,
their
man.
best. Yeah.
You know, but yeah,
Essentially what
it
people
just
say.
is. It is going to happen. Can a deck be banned? Shaz
So,
says that's something I wanted to touch on.
You know, we'll put a pin in that for a moment, because the next and last question we're going to come on to in a moment, folks, is we're going to
Yes.
talk about how can a Chromat combat meta. So we'll come back to that
Yes.
question in a moment.
Good.
Other questions about whether metas in a card game is a good thing. Sadistic says rock paper scissors. Most people are going to go rock. Meta will always be to go paper. Even that, yeah. Even rock paper scissors has a meta. You know what? I agree, Sadistic.
No way.
It is.
My worldview has been shattered.
And now
Crazy.
now everyone's read that. The new meta is going to go scissors, expecting everyone to go paper, and then we go back in a circle.
We're in the scissors era now, guys.
Lewis says, however, other cards will ban cards if they become troublesome, and I don't know if that's on the table for Achroma. I know, yeah, we'll talk more about that in a moment. Heron says, I think it depends on how long the meta deck is in for, then like a year and only
As
one or two
we said, yeah.
Yeah. And you finish your, oh, lovely. And yeah, Lewis said, I don't go to regional tournaments and take weird palettes. I take those for my weekly local games. Exactly. So
Exactly.
yeah.
I think it's down to the community. There's enough variety and enough friendly people and enough creative minds in this community to go, yeah, let's just mess around with playing something dumb. Let's just go Infinity Gauntlet Astrid or something stupid like that, you know.
Or a
It's
bit
fun.
like Hidden Gem has done with their last couple of tournaments, where they're like, hey, let's just change it around. Let's say Achroma only, or you know, hey, mix up. Yeah. So moving on to our last question then. And again, I want you guys in chat to get involved as well. Yeah. Oh, Hisano decks. Yeah.
Don't even.
I mean, that Hisano deck, like the people have been making, that one that you just play Hisano like over and over and over. I've only seen that come out once or twice, but that's amazing. I really hope that comes to the grand tournament.
It's agonizing, but it's the most hilarious thing I think I've ever seen.
Would that Hisano palette not be a good counter for Raiders if you can get them out enough? The whole discarding 5.
Get on it.
Yeah.
Get on it now.
But yeah, so it comes to our last question then of how can Achroma, you know, how can Realm Studios with Achroma, how can we potentially combat these metas that form? So let's start with the point that has already been raised in chat about we've had two things here. Shaz said, can a deck be banned? Lewis said about can cards be banned? So I'll say now, cards being banned, we would likely want to avoid. And actually for Raiders, for pretty much for every single one of these palettes we've discussed, apart from maybe Hex Clunker,
Hex Clunker's too much of a combo deck too. Yeah.
I was gonna say all of the other ones, including Raiders, one card being banned wouldn't make a difference. But in terms of palettes being banned, the difficulty there is straight away, if you say, right guys, Achroma Grand Tournament, Raiders is banned, define Raiders. Because you could make Raiders 100 different ways.
Yeah, it's a Ship of Theseus moment where you go, if you take Ray out of the Raiders deck, is it still a Raiders deck? Like,
yeah. How many cards do you replace? Is it still Raiders?
Exactly. Yeah. You have to consider how far you go. Maybe it becomes too sweaty again, where it's like, if you have these specific combination of cards or whatever, it's just not worth it. I don't think it's worth banning the deck like that.
For what it's worth, from the Achroma team, you know, that has been discussed at the last Grand Tournament with Phil. And I can't remember who I spoke to. I think it was Chillman and it might have been Dan. I'm pretty certain that what they said there and then was that they would actively dislike doing any sort of bans, because that then discourages creativity. If people go, hey, why should I build, you know, I've just built the best palette in the world and now you're telling me I can't use it. Like it's not fun.
It feels bad.
I've got a couple of ways that Achroma could, and again, we'll discuss the pros and cons. If you guys have anything in chat, you got 3. So the first one I've got is obviously we could errata cards. You know, we've done it in the past. We could do it again. But I don't know about you guys. We actively want to errata as little cards as possible, because that means that cards need reprinting, and a lot of people don't like erratas. Obviously, I think the erratas we did in January were actually pretty well received, but there were still some people that said, appreciate the changes, but I don't like it.
Yeah, I think errata, it works the earlier on in a game's lifespan you are, because back when mana got retconned effectively, there wasn't really any precedent for whether the devs wanted to errata or not, so everyone just sort of accepted it for now. But I think the more you errata, the more you end up saying, do we need to keep doing this, or could we just play test it better? For example,
Yeah.
you know, and that's not a jab at the dev team or whatever. It's a mindset that eventually comes up if you keep having to change cards over and over again.
Yeah.
And yeah, especially when there wasn't a way for players who bought into the game to get the errated cards easily from Lewis. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
It's a matter of how accessible are the cards, how often do you do it, etc.
Exactly.
It works, but it might be overdoing it.
Yeah, and I know that from the team, although they did do that big errata in January, that I think the main reason they did the errata in January, for reference, for those who don't know, we keep saying errata and haven't explained it. For those who don't know what that means essentially changing cards. I think the main reason the team did it back in January was because there were loads of cards that the cards were originally built before the idea of the expansion and the rule changes were conceived. Yeah. So they were more changing them to benefit that. But anyway.
To be fair, there were a couple of rewords which made the cards more
it was mostly
easy
rewording
to understand as well. Yeah.
So. I think there was only a very, very small handful of actual changes. So some of the comments we've had before I move on to my next point. Rich says, I totally agree. I agree. A tournament is that playing for fun against meta isn't fun. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you wouldn't bring a fun palette to a tournament. You need to bring your best. Yeah. Ferrybird says, I always go for the thing that would beat the last thing I did in rock, paper, scissors. Very nice. What else we got here? Yeah, talking about the cube. That was awesome.
Errata's fine because when a card is made, it may not do much. Then, 5 sets down the line, it's impossible to say, does, I don't know, Meditation released a couple months ago, is that going to break the game in 3 years? I don't know. I'm not prophetic. So,
and then you got then you got Errata again. So
exactly
the other point I had about how can Achroma potentially combat metas, and again I'd love to know your comments in chat. We can simply just try and create new cards, new keywords, to be direct counters. If we know that something is currently a meta and we're designing a new set of cards, we could steer the new keywords and the new cards to be a counter, which that works. But the biggest fear in that is that, do we accidentally create an even worse meta at the same time that, it just becomes, you have to have the new set to have the best meta, which is exactly what Achroma shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, you have to buy the latest cards. Like, that was actually what got me into Achroma at the start. The fact that you didn't have to have the latest set to have the best palette. You could buy Curdle Hill, the first palette, and be fine. So I wouldn't like it that way.
I think something that comes along with making new mechanics specifically to deal with a current problem in the game, not problem, but with a current best deck in the game, is that you're sort of playing catch up, where making the new mechanic doesn't make the old best cards go away. It just kind of pushes them aside.
Yeah.
It's not fixing the problem. It's arguably compounding the problem, because you're just making a cyclical loop of making cards that counter the ones before them, and that doesn't feel fun.
And you're almost then making Achroma into rock, paper, scissors.
Yes.
I choose Raiders, you choose a counter pack. Oh, you win.
Exactly. That's what people... That is a big discussion in a lot of esports at the moment, especially Overwatch. Again, whether rock, paper, scissors is fun. In a card game, it's just not. Like, nobody wants to do that.
You play turn one, you realize they've picked the better... they've lucked out and picked the better palette. And yeah.
And that's why Lewis says didn't like deck swapping. Yeah,
which has now stopped, obviously.
I think the easiest way to avoid that down the line is just not coming up with mechanics specifically to deal with the existing meta. That being said, I know we can't say too much because playtest is playtest, but some of the new keywords may have an impact on on Raiders. We'll see.
The hard thing with Raiders is, I think, we'll come back to Raiders at the actually, because... Yeah, we'll come back to Raiders in a second on my next point I've got. Lewis says, I still want to see deck swapping removed between rounds 2 personally, especially in the top cuts. I guess maybe, but I don't think it's changing for this grand tournament, but we'll see how this one runs. So my last point I had, and then we'll come to what you've got, Taurus, about, how can Achroma combat metas, is we can simply just change the rules entirely. And again, this can obviously frustrate some people in the community. This could also alienate people in the community. It could cause confusion. But, we could just look for a rule. Because personally, again, I should be very clear, folks. I am, when we talk at the round table, I am very often speaking for me, myself, and I, not Realm Runner Shoes and Achroma. But for me and Raiders specifically, you know, so far we've spoken about errata in cards. Errata in cards wouldn't change Raiders because, as we said, Raiders is everything you put in it, not just one or two cards. Creating new keywords as counters, yes, you definitely could. You know, you could have a keyword that stops trading every turn sort of thing. You know, that could be a direct counter. But again, that's very specific. The way that I think traders is most likely, the easiest way to counter traders, but again, to be very clear, folks, this isn't me saying this is coming. Don't get scared. This is just my personal opinion, is I think that we could potentially look to change the rules around trading, you know, making it the maximum per turn trade limit, the maximum trade you can do in one turn is like 6 shards, you know, so you could do 6 shards in your first step, 0 in your last step, or 3 and 3, but only talking about the start and end step. So if you are playing traders and you have extra trades in your main step, they all count, but yeah, your start and end step, the maximum trade value could only be 6 or something like that. That would be what I say. But again, the disadvantage is that might alienate some of the community or cause so much confusion. Yeah, what do you think?
I think changing rules, like, it does deal with the issue, but then some people might feel targeted if they're the one that came up with the big deck, with the really good deck, and it should be a last resort, in my opinion. Changing the rules, like, in a balance cycle is good to keep the game feeling fresh, but it shouldn't be done just to say, okay, remove that strategy from the game entirely. I think something that could, and we can't keep changing the rules when a new deck comes along. It's silly. I think something that, I mean, I'm kind of blowing my own horn here a bit, but in my personal group that I play with in IRL, we have a home rule where you can't trade to win if you traded at the start of your turn.
So you can't double trade to win.
Yeah, you can't. Oh no. It's specifically you can't trade in your end step. We've refined it a little bit. And we did that because we felt it was a bit anticlimactic to have your whole board wiped and just go ditch 2, I win. It forces you to play the game a little bit more, so maybe that's something to consider, but I don't know how effective it would be.
And like Lewis and a couple of people have said in chat anyway, the issue with rule changes is it's so difficult to make a rule change that that stops a big meta from forming without ruining other sets entirely. Yeah, you know, that would be a big word for Wishwell, for example, what I suggested. And you then gotta just keep changing rules.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a very touchy subject. It's very hard to deal with because, as has been brought up, you can't consider every single possibility. I'm going off my esports knowledge again here, but there's been many cases where one character in a game has been hit to take them out of the meta state, but that's given rise to another character that hasn't been changed at all, but the lack of the old character makes the one that wasn't changed very viable now. Yeah, it's impossible to see all of these branching paths.
Yeah,
and that's partially what the playtest team is for. But it's just so hard.
Yeah, because Achroma's got such a wide spectrum of cards. It's hard to predict. So those were my 3 ways I want to discuss. You know, we could errata cards, we could create new keywords, we could change rules, all of which have their positives and negatives. Did you have any other thoughts, Taurus, on like other ways? And again, let us know in chat if you think there's any way. I'm not asking like I'm not asking you guys what way could we counter raiders. Just what could Achroma do to stop certain metas from going too high? Well, before you answer though, Taurus, I do want to read out a couple of comments before they go too high. Chat, you guys have been amazing in chat so far tonight. Love everything that's been coming in. Fidget said deck swapping. I don't like that you just can't have this. Can't you just have a sideboard? Yeah. Sarah says, should decks be checked before the grand tournament? At the moment, we don't check palettes, and the reason why is that we trust, we currently have a very healthy community. We trust people not to be creating incorrect decks. But if it should become an issue, then we would check them. And again, going back to the whole, potentially banning them, the reason why we can't do banning of palettes is define. If I ask everyone in chat, write the 30 cards which make up raiders, you would all have different variants. So at what point is it, again, like we said earlier, at what point is it not raiders? What else have we got here? Sideboard could be an interesting idea. You have to monitor palette lists through to make sure people aren't using too many rares. Normally you have a deck list for an event you hand in at any time. Again, if we get to the point where cheating or, if we need to, then we could potentially do that sort of thing.
I like to think that cheating isn't going to become a problem. You know, it's one of those things that if it comes up, you have to slap it on the wrist immediately. But I like to think we have friendly players here.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And Sadistic, I know you say make realm runners seasonal. The issue with that though is, again, take Raiders as a prime example. Sadistic, take Ray out of Raiders. The only reason it's called Raiders is because it's a catchy name and he is a legendary. But take him out and Raiders is still super powerful. Like in that particular palette, it will never. It's still extremely strong without Ray. So yeah, you're right. That is absolutely something that Achroma could do. We could have certain cards be on a seasonal thing just for the grand tournaments, but it wouldn't stop Raiders or Raiders like palette. So yeah, sorry, Taurus, I'll come back to you now. So what other ideas do you have what Achroma could do?
To be honest, we've covered all of them.
Yeah.
I think on the just touching quickly on the subject of the errata again. I think some cards. I think errata is the solution when cards are good in every deck.
Yeah, if it's one card, like Sintamani Stone.
Sintamani Stone is the obvious, haha, here we go again card, but that card is good no matter where you put it. So I think errata is a solution for cards like that.
Yes.
But I think errataing Ray or errataing Lab Coat or Shame Hard Cash or anything like that. Is don't touch my stone. I'm coming for it. I will get errata though. I think errataing Ray is just not. It's just not the solution because in all things, for all intents and purposes, he isn't a good card unless he's in the Ray deck. Yeah. I think we've covered everything really. Like,
yeah, I agree.
It's just a matter of accepting that this is always going to happen and not having it become a problem to deal with. Just accept that it's going to be a thing and just and don't fall into any of the traps of making the game worse because of it.
Yeah, I agree. Riding it out until the next meta comes along and the next scarier meta. You know what? Someone set a reminder. This time next year, I'll get Taurus on for another realm table. The second Sunday of September next year, and we'll discuss. Isn't it funny how Raiders is like 3 or 5 or 6 metas ago? Wow, no one plays Raiders anymore.
Well, no way, crazy.
Yeah, crazy, right?
Rubbish deck.
Yeah, who would play that? So Fairy said that's another thing. Anybody playing Raiders on Thursdays is almost always going to get the prize. It's almost been the case. Yeah, again, because it is the meta right now. It's very strong.
Yeah.
And yeah, Heron says, I think with cheating, it all depends on the first prize. Yeah, and as Lewis said, whenever there is prizes, you're going to potentially get cheaters. Thankfully, so far, we haven't had any cheaters in Achroma, or if they have, they've lost because they didn't win.
Or they've got away with it.
So we're saying that Lewis is a cheater.
No, of course not. But it will happen. It's just.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. If Draco Temple Chapter 2 doesn't bring a new meta, Sparata Chapter 2 definitely will, because we all agree that Sparata is currently the strongest realm by itself.
Yes.
By far.
Yes.
And if we're now going to have new Sparata cards that you can mix and match in, those are only going to get better. So I'm scared for Sparata Chapter 2.
Let's go.
I
can't wait for Splat 6 every single turn or something like that.
Yeah.
I think we've covered everything though, to be honest.
Yeah. I think this has actually been the longest. I think, Jim, this has been the longest realm table segment we've done. I think we've been going for a best part of 45 minutes.
Not me rambling.
Oh, no. It's been great. And actually, I think this has also been the busiest realm table segment we've had for people active in chat. Yes. So thank you to everybody that's been chatting. It's been really, really interesting to talk about. So if we can get a round of thank yous in chat, please, for Taurus, otherwise known as Pete. And Pete, thank you very much for being on, as always. Pleasure chatting to you.
Chaps. Yeah,
really insightful as well with your esports. So with your esports backgrounds. And obviously, I should say good luck to yourself in the grand tournament on the 23rd. Obviously, I won't be there.
I'm gonna need it.
But I am. If you, to you and anybody that's not playing Raiders, I support you. I will cheer for you. For those playing Raiders, I don't blame you, but I want you to lose.
I don't blame you, but
no. I want like a Dexter or a Funguar palette to win or something.
Oh
like
goodness. Right.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Pete. I really appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks again. See you later.
See you on the next one. See you later, buddy.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. There we go. That was Taurus. Let me get my script back up. But yeah, round of thank yous in chat if you haven't already said thank you to Taurus there. Draco might get better meta. Yeah, I hope so. I really hope so, because Draco has always been one of those. Draco has always been the chap that's been like very, very good palettes come out of Draco. But Draco is, I mean, all of those palettes I just mentioned, not a single meta has come from Draco. So I also hope that this next one has like a really, really strong thing. Honestly, I think we need a more Achroma heavy set. Yeah, Chroma has always been very good. I agree, Lewis. It was nice to know you're not the only one thinking about this stuff. Yeah, it is. It is, absolutely. And, you know, don't be afraid to have these chats, folks. You know, all of these sort of discussions are always healthy for the game. And, you know, as you can tell by the last few weeks, you know, any of these conversations that are happening in Discord, we will bring onto the Realm table. So if you guys have anything in particular that you want us to discuss on the Realm table, you know, if you have a particular subject or something you think is worth discussing in the community, let me know in Discord, and I'd love to run it as the Realm table segment. Draco only here. Yeah, HOD would be awesome. So the last little bit of the stream then, folks, we are almost there, is the community showcase. Now, I'm going to be honest, it's actually a very, very short community showcase. And the reason why is I don't have any fan-made content to show you, because unsurprisingly, all of the fan-made, all of the, you know, the artwork people have been creating has been for the competition, which we'll be showing you next week. And I haven't seen any new palette builds either. So all I'm really going to talk about for the community showcase is, firstly, if you're not already in the community, if you're not already in the Discord, check out the Discord link down below. We've had a couple of new members this week, so welcome in if you are one of those members. Pleasure to have you. We have had some created... Oh, wait, Wiggly... Oh, yes, you're absolutely right. I almost forgot about Wiggly Woo. Let me find them. Was that in RPG chat? Or did you post that in RPG chat? Or did you post it in a forum? I think you posted it in a forum, didn't you? Let me find it. It's worth finding. Do you remember where you posted it? Was it in RPG chat? No, it definitely wasn't RPG chat. I'll just scroll up that. Might be this one. That was Darth. That was that one. Ah, thank you. Thank you. Let me just open that in the browser. There we go. We got Wiggly Woo. There we go. So yes, there is. Yeah, I did say I was going to show this one. So here we go. We have got some fan art to show. Everybody, meet Wiggly Woo. This is Char's TTRPG character, which, by the way, the recordings of those will be on, will be available at some point soon. So this is a Chroma Worm TTRPG character that Char created, and in their session, they had. They got loaded into a Lakringi catapult, flung at Kundra Otrix, the enemy, and whilst in the air, was cast on fire by a fireball. It was absolutely epic, and also a giant prism as well. It is insane. So yes, not only a lovely artwork by Shah there, but also an incredible backstory. So thank you, Shah, for reminding me to put that on stream. I know what, Wiggly Woo can stay there on screen whilst I do the next bit of the community segment. So what I was going to say is, apart from Wiggly Woo, there's no other fan art or palette builds to show this week. But I do want to talk about some creator content. So we have had a new... We've had a new thing from Achroma.tools. So you guys know Achroma.tools, which is the website ran by Lewis in the community. What he has done on his website, if you go to Achroma.tools, again, the link is down below, is he's got a new locator tool where what you can do is you could submit a form where you say where you are in the world. Now, obviously, don't give your full address. You just say what town you live in, or, you know, even what county you live in. And what he's doing is he's plotting everybody and all the shops on a map. So if you're trying to look, you know, if you want to see at a glance who are the local players to me, you can easily see that. So you can then tag them in Discord and try and arrange games. So if you haven't already, to make that map better, go to Achroma.tools, click on the locator and fill out the form. Thank you to Lewis for doing that. We've had a new video from the Playing Achroma YouTube channel, which again is linked down below. He has been making these really, really cool shorts. Some of them are gameplay help, some of them are lore related, some of them are just talking about the new cards. A couple more YouTube shorts will come out from them, so make sure to click on their link down below, subscribe to them, check out their shorts. And we had a new video from Wishworld Traders. Wishworld Traders is a YouTube channel that makes Achroma content only, and they've been away for a little while because they were busy in the summer, but they've just started posting again, and they did a new faction deep dive on the Free Folk of Luxmorn. So if you want to know more about the Free Folk of Luxmorn, definitely check out their video. Again, link is under the channel. So thank you very much to those that have created fan-made content this week. Yeah, Wiggly Woo got to mention. Happy to be the sidekick to Wiggly Woo if there was ever an RPG main character. Oh yeah, Wiggly Woo is definitely the main one. Yeah, more videos and articles in the next 2 weeks for yourself. Brilliant. Glad to see that playing Achroma. Again, guys, definitely go check out the YouTube channel and blog down below. Yeah, and the chasm was just brilliant. So yeah, there we go. That is Wiggly Woo and some of the Achroma content that we've had this week. And that brings us nicely to the end of the stream then. So yeah, we've had some, it's been a long stream this week. You know, just to kind of do a quick 60-second recap for you. Maybe that'll be a new thing I do. 60-second recap. So new dice samples are in. The dice are being looked at the TTRPG. We had the Hidden Realms tournament on Friday. Well done to those that went to that. We had the 2 events at Living Realms and Patriot Games yesterday and today as well. Well done to everyone who went to there. We've got the Curdle Cove Alt Art competition still running, folks, so make sure to get in your entries before next Sunday. You can now purchase single alt art cards online at the link down below. We've got 3 events coming up. We've got Achroma Thursdays every Thursday at Forever Realms Gaming Lounge, and we've got the Grand Tournament at Pool in the 23rd of September, and the Northern Grand Tournament on the same day. The tickets for both of them are down below. We had a look at some new location previews, and we had a nice chat about meta. So there we go. That is the Achroma Wiki stream recap for you there. But yeah, thank you very, very much to everybody that has been with me in the stream today. You guys have been brilliant. Great chatting to you all. All of the sneak peeks will be in Discord straight away after stream, so check those out. And I'll be with you next Sunday for the next Achroma Weekly, where we'll have some more previews and more news for you. And I'm very looking forward to coming to Bash on the 21st of September. I can't wait, Rich. It's going to be a lot of fun. So let's hopefully get a lot of players there. But yeah, thank you very much, folks. That is the end of the stream. I'm not going to be playing any Achroma games after stream just because I am an absolutely sweaty mess right now and I need to go cool myself down. But yeah, thank you very much, folks. Have a great week. I'll see you in the Discord throughout the week, and I'll speak to you next week for the Achroma Weekly. I've been Charles Barton. I was Viridian. See you later.